Our goal is to seek justice for Elijah McClain, for his family and friends, and for our state.
5 first responders involved in the deadly encounter with Elijah McClain more than 2 years ago now face charges of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. A grand jury reached a different conclusion than earlier investigations. They returned a 32-count indictment against 2 current Aurora officers, a former officer, and 2 paramedics. All 5 turned themselves in on Wednesday. Those are officers Nathan Woodyard, Randy Roedema, former officer Jason Rosenblatt, and paramedics Peter Chikuniak and Jeremy Cooper. They posted bond and were released. They're accused of stopping McClain, throwing him to the ground, and putting him into a carotid hold while paramedics gave him ketamine to sedate him. McClain told them that he could not breathe. The indictment says paramedics overestimated McClain's weight by almost 60 pounds and gave him too much ketamine. It also says that they did not properly monitor him afterwards. The 4 current employees are on unpaid leave. Aurora police fired Rosenblatt after they say he responded "ha-ha" to a picture he received showing officers mocking a chokehold near Memorial for McClain.
Well, this is the indictment many have been waiting for. An indictment is far from a conviction. So a lot of people want to know what's next. 9 News reporter Eddie Randall has been following this case for us and joins us now in studio. Eddie, legal experts have some differing opinions on where this could go.
That's right, Corey. And we've talked to them about all areas surrounding this case, from what's happened until now to what we could see happen next. Now, among the attorneys we spoke to about this case, all agree there is going to be a battle when it comes to Elijah McClain's death, looking at who is most responsible or who is responsible at all. But things start to shift when you get into how this will all unfold in court.
That is going to be a super big challenge in an environment where you've already had the first medical examiner come back right about the time of Elijah McClain's death and say, I can't tell you what killed him.
The coroner also did not rule out the fact that the chokehold combined with the ketamine may have been the cause or contributed to the death. And that, I think, is going to be a key part of the trial.
So we also know the 5 named in the indictment that you see right here behind me all turned themselves in, posted bond, and were released. This all happened on Wednesday. 9 Wants to Know investigative reporter Kevin Vaughn, who's been following this case, says there could be a series of court hearings. The future could even hold a trial or multiple trials, but that could take months or even years. Now, there's also discussion about the role video will play in this case, and we're talking about body camera video, surveillance, cell phones. I'm going through that part of the story for our next half hour, Corey.
Yeah, so many different scenarios can come into play here. Eddie, thank you. Some people want to know why this indictment took so long in the first place. Others wonder if charges would have ever been filed had protesters not taken to the streets.
9 News reporter John Glasgow is live in Aurora with how people are reacting. And John, protesters spent months demanding justice for Elijah. They say this is a step towards that.
And some of those protests happened right here in front of the Aurora Police Department. The protesters demanding that the officers involved in Elijah McClain's death face justice. One of those was Quincy Shannon, who helped organize a lot of these marches and rallies last summer. He believes those protests made this indictment possible. In November last year, Aurora police announced no criminal charges would be filed against the officers involved in McClain's death. People took to the streets. Then on June 25th of last year, Governor Jared Polis signed an executive order to have the Colorado Attorney General investigate McClain's death. That investigation eventually led to the grand jury indictment.
I do not believe that we would be where we are as far as this indictment, or even with the multiple people who know Elijah McClain's name, if it would not have been for the multitude of people who came out. Anything, hopefully this shows, showing up is important. Speaking up is important, even when the cards are against you.
Colorado lawmakers are also weighing in as well. Governor Jared Polis said in a statement, Elijah McClain's death was a tragedy. This innocent young man should be here today. The Aurora Police Association also released a statement which reads in part, there is no evidence that APD officers caused his death. It goes as far to say, nothing has changed. Our officers did nothing wrong. Now, the Aurora Police Department said that the Police Association does not speak for the leadership of APD or all of its members. And Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson said, this tragedy will forever be imprinted on our community. We also heard from Elijah McClain's mother, Shaneen McClain. She says that this decision gives her hope that a prison sentence might be a possible outcome. We're going to hear from her coming up at 6:30. Natasha.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, John. Thank you.